Yeah, this is another episode of Big Sexy Digital Nomad, and we got your host, Big Sexy, here. I am the almost psychic. Today, we're going to talk about the holidays, the fact that I am on a boat, not at the time of recording, but at the time that this is probably hitting your ear holes, and some more.
Hello, everybody.
Big
Welcome,
Sexy.
welcome. Good morning. Hey, hey. How are you doing, good sir?
I am, let me tell you, I am living a life that I never thought I would imagine. And I don't mean with like stuff and things going on around me, although there's some really cool stuff and some really great interactions with some people that are part of the community of this podcast and connected to it. But for anybody that is here listening to us adjacent to ICS, you may have heard a scoop mail that I wrote in maybe about a month and a half ago. Matt had requested dipshits at the gym stories.
Right.
And I wrote in talking about this dipshit at my gym who, about a month or less after joining the gym, fell off of an upright, like a pull-up rig. Didn't do anything about it, had pain, ends up finding out over a year later that he fractured his tailbone and has had, a bunch of shit still, issues with it. Went and got physical therapy. It really wasn't getting better and is now exploring platelet-rich plasma treatment.
Jesus.
And that dipshit is me.
Oh,
And as an intermediate, I'm getting the platelet-rich plasma treatment. And basically what that is I'm going to go into this place, and I've had a consultation, and I'm scheduled for early January to do this procedure. I go in the morning. They take a bunch of my blood. I leave. They do a bunch of sciencey shit to my blood that I don't understand.
they're going to sell it.
That basically makes it converts it so that it starts to heal or be a healing body, because your blood does different things depending on what the needs are. Then I come back in the afternoon. They inject it right into my ass. Not a hot beef injection, just my own blood, science-ified. And then it's supposed to not only promote the healing because it's doing healing, but it also should signal my body to send more healing blood cells to that area.
They're going to basically do like a low-key super soldier serum without the super or the soldier in your butt.
Pretty much, yeah. And I guess the again, I have the same medical degree that you do, so my understanding of this is limited to just reading between the lines of what they're telling me. I guess my understanding is that your body has certain expectations for stuff and things, and healing is one of those things. And I guess that it has a timeline to which, okay, there's an injury, send the healing cells for X amount of time. And then when the time is expired, it stops sending the cells, which must have been what happened to me with this fracture, because it hasn't, it has now been coming up on 2 years since this. And it's literally to the point, and I think you probably saw me in this condition when I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, where literally if I'm sitting for too long, and too long is like 30 minutes or more, I have to fucking brace myself on something to get up.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's the wild thing is that I didn't appreciate how much pain I was in. And as an intermediary, because there's all sorts of like crazy strict rules the week of and the week after you get this procedure. Like, not only is it no drinking or doing any recreational drugs or anything like that, you have to stop taking any sort of pain meds, ibuprofen or NSAIDs or anything. You have to stop taking a multivitamin. If you take a multivitamin, it's crazy ass shit. So, which is fine. At the end,
As normal as possible.
my eyes are on the prize. I want to get healed. I will do whatever to get there. However, the cruise that at the time that this episode drops that I'm currently on was going to be problematic with the scheduling, which is why I'm doing it first week of January. Otherwise, I would have gotten it like next week. They had schedulings mid-December where I could have done it, but I need that 2-week window, and then there's the holidays, and they didn't do as much, So I'm first week of January doing that. In the meantime, I ran into a guy in my area that does acupuncture. And I was like, is there anything that you could do to help with this? And he's like, should be. And I'm fucking flabbergasted, bro. Like, I have now been in there, let's see, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday. 4 or 5 sessions.
Okay.
And it's like this shit has never happened. Like it took me not being in pain, like legit not being in pain. And my mind is blown over these results. I was like, sure, maybe this will help take the edge off or something like that.
Right.
I feel nothing and I don't understand it. It is real magic. Like,
no, it's just that it's that science, it's that degree we ain't got.
It is. I will tell you that if you were ever considering, if it was ever recommended for you and you were in any way hesitant about it for any number of reasons, it is absolutely worth trying because, again, I'm not saying that what I am currently experiencing that everybody will experience if they go do this. Maybe I got the right guy. Maybe my body's more, amenable to it or whatever. But I can tell you my experience has been an 11 out of 10. Like,
maybe you're a porcupine hybrid and that's just your natural state.
Whatever it is, 5 stars, 10 out of 10, would recommend, you name it, all the accolades. Like, I am out of my mind at the level of results that I've experienced because my expectation was, open-minded. Hey, let's give this a shot. Right. Knowing that on the horizon I have this PRP treatment coming up, which I'm still going to do because I figure, this is a process. And if I can, if what I'm doing is paving the runway that probably helps the PRP be even more effective, then thumbs up because I just want to be better. I want to get, be pain-free.
Watch a movie without having to stand up in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you don't realize how bad it is until you're not experiencing it anymore. And I'll tell you, I am a tremendously more pleasant person.
Yeah, that campaign will do that for you.
Like, you don't, I did not I just thought I was a dick before. And
I mean, don't get it twisted. You were
still, yes, but
without as much pain.
It's right. Like, I can tolerate more bullshit because I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Like, it's, glowing endorsement.
That's awesome.
Obviously
I'm gonna say that's one thing. That's one reason why I don't go to the gym, but that's a lie because I was at the gym last night.
Yeah. And the other thing, and I was like, this is the primary concern. I also have this grinding in my shoulder that at the time, and I know that this is a mostly audio podcast, although we are canning the video to maybe release it at some point in time. But you would have thought that I was in 1940s Germany with where my range of motion stopped in my shoulder to the point of raising it without feeling any sort of resistance. And I said, let's take a look at this as well. Again, my primary concern is the tailbone. Full fucking range of motion, and the grinding I don't get clicking until I'm past the perpendicular to the ground, which is
just imagine right now somebody walking past your office watching you do that, going,
doors closed. The do not disturb button has been pressed.
Walking by like, wait, who's this dude talking to? And
look, it's a small office here, and my wife is one of the people who works here, so she obviously knows what is going on. There's 5 people that work in my office, including me. So,
and 3 of them are like, Joe is racist.
6, including me. So I just,
That's hilarious.
if you, and I'll tell you right now, Dr. Peter Merrick, if you're anywhere near Elkton, Maryland, you know, I'm blanketing the endorsement that I'm giving him to acupuncture generally. Definitely, like I said, it may not be the cure all for you that it feels like it has been for me. And literally, like 2 sessions in, I'm like, bro, I don't even know what to say about this,
We should, we
other
should, we should,
other than in a couple of weeks, I'm going to come to you having dwelled on all of the things that I'm dealing with. Like, what the hell else can you fix? Because let's do it.
right. We should definitely drop their link in the header or the description box down
For sure,
below.
we'll do. Yes. Um, yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. So, what do you got going on? How were your holidays?
Good, really good. It's funny you said that. I was thinking about my trip to the gym last night, actually. Post holiday, I want to get back into the workout. Um, Again, trying to get my body in a condition that, walking through the streets of Portugal and Spain isn't like, draining or exhausting because it's mostly walking, not as much, uh, trans- wheeled transportation as I'm used to. Um, and I found my niche, and I've known my niche for a while. I go to EOS Cinema, which is the gym, but I say the cinema because they have a movie theater that they play a movie, in a room that have like treadmills and bikes and stairmasters and ellipticals and what have you. And I hop on the treadmill. I throw it at a good brisk walk, and I just watch the movie. Last night was Transformers: The Last Night, which is a terrible movie. But I had never seen it, right? So it kept me.
So you didn't know it was terrible till it was too late.
No, I mean I knew it was terrible going in. Like I knew it was terrible. Because I walk in, I go, what's playing? Oh, it's a Transformers movie. I didn't know which one it was, but it's one of the ones with Mark Wahlberg, and I'm going, whatever. And so, and the funny thing about the Transformer movies, it kills me the level of talent. This is what the power that Michael Bay has. As I'm watching this horrible ass movie, I'm going, you got John Turturro, you got Sir Anthony Hopkins. Mark Wahlberg isn't. I like Mark Wahlberg. You know what I mean? You got this cute British chick who looks like Megan Fox, right? Because I'm pretty sure that's why she got hired. Um, you have all this talent, and his mom, like, God, these are talented people in this shitty ass Transformers movie. But I'm walking, I'm doing it, and I'm walking, and suddenly it's been like over 90 minutes, and I've been steadily walking, right, breaking up a sweat, still going, still pushing it, and then after the movie ends, I'm like, okay, woo, all right, and I stop it, and I feel like, holy shit, my legs are a little bit wobbly, and okay, all right, I can do that, and I love doing that because I need that distraction because I get so bored lifting weights and I want to do anything else at the moment. Like it doesn't hold my attention. It doesn't. I don't get that burn and that drive and that oh yeah, I'm doing it now. The people I know who love the gym get. I don't have that. Whatever that gene is, I don't got it. But I do have a movie gene, and so movie gene is anyway. Um, I hop on a treadmill or maybe one of the upright bikes and just watch the movie and make sure that my body's doing moving while I'm watching this movie, and that has always gotten me through. Sometimes what bugs me is that they don't always have the greatest movie selections. Like, come on, guys, nobody wants to work out to The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not feeling hope
Yeah,
floats.
look, you're not, you can't, that's just like, to me, that's a faux pas. Like, a movie that is designed to get you in the feels when you get to the climactic points of it, you can't be doing that shit at the gym.
Right, right. Give me high energy, you know, uh, things I don't have to pay too much attention to. Feel as I'm working out, right? Something I can just enjoy the spectacle of.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's got to be. I mean, it's got to be a dumb movie like the fucking Transformers
Yeah.
movie that is about action. Like, you know, it
So
should
the
be a
last time
movie.
I went in, I watched Taken, and I ended up watching the entire fucking movie. Like
Yeah.
I got in right at the opening credits, which is weird. Usually, I come in when I come in the gym is in just beginning or the middle of the movie, and it's fun to take a minute and go, "What movie is this?" I got to figure out what movie this is. Oh, okay, cool. We come in the opening of Taken, and then going, oh shit, this is Taken. Okay, and my brain goes, okay, good. You've
How
seen the
many of those
movie
movies are there?
Taken.
Yeah, aren't there like four of them?
I think there's four. I think there's like
So how
four.
long does it take you? Because I think I've seen parts of the first one, maybe all of the first one, but to me, from an outsider, like having only seen maybe one of the movies and then previews for the rest, they look like they're the same fucking movie.
Well,
Like, how
yeah.
long does it take you to figure out in a setting like that which one you're actually in?
Uh, a minute,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause, it took the I missed the title of the movie, but I know the movie, right? So I once they start introducing, okay, this is where they're at in the movie. I recognize the daughter. Okay, no, this is the first one. Um, but again, I end up watching the whole fucking movie. Like my brain goes, hey, you know this movie. You can get a good 30 minutes, 45-minute walk in, go lift some weights or whatever, whatever. Um, and then I'm sitting there watching the whole fucking movie, like from start to finish, opening credits to end credits, the whole thing. And then I look down and go, holy shit. I've been walking like I'm not doing no more else in this gym. I'm going home. Uh, but I spent an hour 45 minutes at the
Hell
gym,
yeah.
and so I love that. So I love that. But I do got to remember sometime I need to go, and I'll avoid the cinema first. I'll go in. I'll hop on an outside treadmill for my 10-minute warm up. Lift some weights, do some arm stuff because I always had the image that arms are sexy. I think a pretty woman told me that at some point in time, and so my brain goes, yeah, I love a man with good arms. I'm like, yeah, so do I. Sexy ass arms. So I'll lift on my arms. I'll do some curls, some triceps, get the muscles looking all right, and then I'll hop in the cinema. Whatever's playing, I'll just finish it out, and then I'll close out. Walking it out. Unless it's a dumbass movie, then it pisses me off. And I got to go back to the regular ass treadmill and head out. But yeah, it felt good to be back in the gym, man. But my Thanksgiving. Now we just ended the holidays, or the holiday Thanksgiving. This by far was one of the most relaxed holidays I have ever had.
Same.
Yeah, I'm hearing that across the board. We went to California. Stayed with my cousin, which is what we're doing when we go to California usually. And my cousin was hosting. Shout out to you, Leia and Craig. They were cooking and hosting, so that meant I didn't have to get up and go anywhere on the holiday. We drove in Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning we woke up, went to have breakfast with my mom, and then came back and helped get the house together and ready for guests and just chilled. And I spent damn near the whole day in my big purple slippers, uh, lounging, really comfortable, really cool. And then we like, usually the tradition is we eat dinner and then we meet up with friends and then go see a movie or something like that. And this time around, I just said, you know what? If anybody hits me up, I will pursue it. Right. I'll look at it and say, okay, let me see if I can work it out or whatever. And I hit a couple folks up, but everybody I hit up was kind of busy. It was, excuse me, it was a bit of a somber weekend because my friend Neil, his father passed away. and they were having his service this weekend on They had his service on Saturday, and usually Neil was the friend that I would meet up with via tradition, and we'd go out. But obviously, for family reasons, we didn't do that this time around. Um, so again, moment. May he rest in peace. And instead, we literally just hung out at the house. And then, Friday morning, the wife went to a pole class because that's what my wife does. And then we came back and chilled all day. Like we just hung out, we watched movies, we lounged. It was lovely. It was a lovely weekend. I apparently needed to slow down and not do a lot. Shout out to my friend Thais. She celebrated her 50th birthday on Saturday, and so I went to her birthday dinner at her friend's house in Mission Viejo. That was lovely. Had a good time there, except for it was cold and the party was mostly outside. Um, uh, they had heaters, but it was still cold. But it was good. We had a great time. Food was delicious, and lovely people. Again, what I love that I'm handing out so much swag. If you're listening to this, you haven't got swag, hit us up,
That's right.
and we'll make sure you get some swag uh, as a thank you for hitting us up. But yeah, and how was your Thanksgiving, sir?
Similar. I didn't really go anywhere though. Laid low. Um, got food started. Went over to a buddy of mine's house around halftime of the first football game. A little bit into the second game, wife gives me a text saying, "Hey, food's done," and her father had come over. So I went home, like 15 minutes away, 10 to 15 minutes. Sat there, did that meal, chilled out for a little bit afterwards, and then went back over to my buddy's house to watch the rest of the second game. And by then, I was just like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going to go get to bed early. Just went home, chilled out, did a whole lot of nothing. And the same thing. Sometimes you need to just hit the brakes, I think, and reset. And, it was good. I needed it. And,
You have a big family?
Hmm?
Do you have a big family?
If we put them all together, I guess decent size, but this was just small, nothing, over the top or anything like that. Um, and just, sometimes you just need to, like I said, to hit the brakes. I'm hoping to be able to do that on the cruise next week.
Yeah,
You
that'll be
know,
lovely.
at least take 1 or 2 days to just kind of chill, lay around.
Do that. Definitely take advantage of that. That's one thing I love about cruising is some days you can just, I'm not doing shit today.
Exactly. Catch
I'm
up on
just
some
gonna
reading or something.
exactly. I'm gonna lounge. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna go find a nice place to post up and chill. Maybe do some people watching, some book reading. I can stand up, go grab a bite to eat, come back and we chill. Yeah, that's gonna be lovely. That's gonna be lovely. It's interesting. I actually met some of my cousins in laws. It's my cousin's husband's cousin. And I met his sister as well. So it's really cool to meet new quote unquote family members. Come to find out they have an apartment here in Vegas. You know, I'm like, man, Craig, how do you not connect me and this dude is really little. This guy's my doppelganger. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to DJ Sweat. Um, he he's a DJ, right? He likes to travel. He likes line dancing. He's a little bit taller than me, but bald, also bald. It's it was funny. We're like, oh, okay, so you're me in that family. And I was like, okay, got it, okay, got it. All right, that works out. It was really cool, but it was fun talking to him and meeting him. And he and I are gonna chat up. It'd be good resource when we move up back to California. First off, I get to hang out and talk with him for a bit. Um, Looking forward to that. Making those kind of it's fun to make connections at a family event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, the way the world turns out that way sometimes. It's really good. Oh, should I talk about? Okay, I can mention this. Wife has come up with a great idea um, that I'm pondering around about doing. Or when we get to Portugal, something I can also do and engage in, since I won't be working a full time job. Thank you, Jesus. Um, when we moved back to California, my cousins, my aunt, and my mom all go to these different line dancing groups.
Hmm.
They have all these line dancing groups, and wife goes, "You could be a line dancing instructor in Portugal. Like, you could find all you gotta do is find a studio, and then there's a huge, expat community of older and the older folks love doing line dances
Yeah, yeah.
and hanging out, and so you could be that hot young thing who's fresh in the town, teaching everybody how to do line dances." And so I went, that's a great idea. So I'm starting to watch YouTube videos, and I love dancing. I love music. Um, I tell you, nothing happens. Nothing brings a party up like your DJ putting on some music, coming out of the booth, and joining the party and getting in the crowd and dancing. I do that all the time at the weddings that I DJ, and they love it. Um, it's my favorite thing to teach a bride and the groom how to do the wobble. That is hilarious to me. Um, and so yeah, that's another possible income, fun, healthy activity. Get the workout in, and I can do all that while I'm out there. So I don't,
Oh yeah.
lose my mind with boredom, and give me a chance to meet folks and communicate and talk and build that community up as well. So I'm looking forward to being able to share that kind of stuff as well. About being a line dance instructor, which had not been in my thought. And my knee jerk reaction, of course, was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I thought about, wait, that's not a bad idea. I think I can do that. Yeah, that has some strong benefits. That sounds like a good idea. And my wife has those. My wife has good ideas.
It's
And
fun
so,
to see this plan continue to solidify and other pieces fall into place. What was, hey, we're going to do this someday, to now there are dates. Now things are starting to put themselves together. So that's pretty badass.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Looking forward to it. I can't wait. So I had a question for you. Actually, I came today with an interesting thought. I don't know what brought this question up in my brain.
Okay.
I think it was listening to the podcast with Jen when I was re-listening to the podcast and talking about stuff, and I thought uh, about our first car, your first car. As we're talking about, or maybe when we're talking about traveling as a child. I think that's what kicked it
Oh
off,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
When last episode we had the external monologue, and they asked us about traveling as a kid, and then I thought that interim when you get your first car, right? That first moment of freedom, um, and nowadays it's not as big of a deal as it was when we were kids,
Oh yeah.
which is insane to me. Like I know, high school kids and even early 20s are like, I don't want a car. I need a car. What do I need a car for? I got Uber. I got Lyft. I can go around. I got things, places to go and stuff like that. Like that's insane to me. Like we have moved out of that. We used to be a car nation. Like get your first car and you learn how to drive, and they taught driver's ed in school, like in this old clickety ass desk with a cheap ass monitor in it, and you pretended to drive. I couldn't wait to get in that class. I wanted to see that. Looked a lot of fun. Uh, yeah. So, what was your first car, sir?
So my first car, so I started driving. I just sat here and pulled a calculator and did the math. Sometime around 1997. because I think you got about 10 years on me age wise.
Yep.
And my first car was a 1978 Pontiac Bonneville Brougham. This thing was an absolute land yacht. And, nobody taught me anything about anything other than how to pump gas, I guess, which kind of is self explanatory. So I literally ran this car into the ground by not ever changing the oil, and the engine ended up burning up at some point in
Oh,
time. And that probably was not even like routine maintenance type of issues. There were probably some issues with this almost 20-year-old car
right.
that I had no idea how to look for or tell, that probably complicated, the situation. But that car was relatively short lived. But yeah, I was, and I know people are like you mentioned, as the world is evolving and things are changing, and I know that there are some people that will live in major cities that have nice mass transit and never drive or even learn to drive, things like that. Some people are apprehensive about it and don't jump in right away. I was literally like, oh, you can get your learner's permit in 15 years and 6 months. I'm fucking there with bells on day one. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was 15 years and 6 months, not 15 years and 6 months and a day when I got that learner's permit. Like, it
Did you
was
ever did
on
you
the
ever
day.
drive when you were a kid? Like, did anybody
No,
ever put you on their lap and let you steer the wheel?
no, I didn't. I honestly, oddly enough, no. But I'll tell you that having done that one time for my youngest when he was really young, that is almost a bell that is so difficult to unring. Like, you do it once for a kid and they expect you to do it every single time. It's,
Right.
and I'm talking about like rolling down the street in a neighborhood, not, out on the real roads. But whew, yeah. No, I don't think
Right.
anybody ever did that for me, to me, whatever.
Right.
How about you? What you got?
So my first car was a 1986 Mazda GLC, light green, get great gas mileage. Uh, um, yeah, it was new. I started driving. Got my own car in 1986. It's a brand new car. Um, Mom got me a new car, and I got to tool around. It was wonderful to have this kind of freedom. You know what I mean? It was exciting, and I remember driving over to my grandmother's house to show it off. I'm like, Grandma, I got my own car now. And I had a lot of father figures. Both my father, my grandfather, and then the guy my mom was dating, all gave me the opportunity to try to get behind the wheel. And my dad taught me how to drive. I took driver's ed in school. And likewise, the day one I could get my learner's permit, I got it. Um, I studied for that test. I studied harder for that test than any test in school. I really, really wanted to drive because again, I was a child of movies. Like, I grew up watching movies, and all the cool kids rolled up to high school in their car,
Yeah.
right? You know, uh, I'll fly if you buy. I got a bunch of free lunch because I had the car to take everybody to the local burger shop and pick up a meal. And yeah, I drove that Mazda till the wheels fell off. And it lasted a long time. Lasted a really long time. It was great. And it's really funny. And now that I think about it, I nowadays, I still kind of dream about that car,
Hmm.
but I always lose it. Like, it's always an extra car that I supposedly have somewhere, but I can't find anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the dream, I kind of go, man, where is my? I know I have another car. How do I have so many damn cars and I don't know where they are and don't have the key? Like, that's a very weird. aspect of my dreams every now, and it happens every now and then, not regularly, but every sporadically there will be a dream where I have a car, and it's usually Mazda, right? It's usually or that style of car, Nissan Sentra, which I also had. Um, and I just can't find it. Like I have my regular car, I have my Kia that I drive now. Um, but I also have the second car, and I don't know where it is.
I
It's so weird.
think they made a movie about you.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So yeah, that was my first car. Now, how many cars have you had throughout your life?
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
That I don't have
that's
on. I don't have that on recall the way that I had what the first one was. But
yeah, that's a
let's
different
see
question.
that, and I can't even remember.
So, speaking math.
Yeah, I got to do the math
Audio
out loud.
podcast.
This
Yeah,
is
this is audio
this is
podcast.
audio podcast.
Do
So
the
me
math out
putting
loud.
fingers up as I go through it. So I had that Pontiac till it died. I think after that I inherited not through death, but like you're next. Um, one of my grandmother's an old Caprice classic, so another land yacht. Then I went. I think that neared its end of life as I was entering undergrad. So I went a year without a car. We're at 2 so far. And then the summer after my first year of college, I bought a pickup truck. That was a 2000 Mazda B3000.
Was that the first car you bought yourself?
Correct. That I bought new and from a dealership, and I bought it, not
Right.
not
Not a
getting it
hand-me-down.
secondhand or
Right.
I drove that car until I had a kid, my first child, and then having a 2-seater pickup truck made absolutely no sense. So that timing was that was about 2 years after my grandfather passed away, and my grandmother kept his vehicle and her vehicle. And then I was like, okay, I'll buy that from you. Because then it was another land yacht, because old people at that time were
Right.
buying land yachts. So that made 4. And I sold that truck and that was before I was an attorney. I sold that truck to a guy that is a staff attorney for an insurance company that every so often this guy gets on one of the files that we have. And I'll always, whether I'm handling it or not, I'll make sure I get on the phone and be like, Cliff, how's that Mazda running? Let's see, that was 4. And then, yes, doing the math out loud, and I know nobody gives a fuck about this, and it's great podcasting, but that car I traded in. You remember the Cash for Clunkers program sometime
I do.
around like 2007 or 2008?
Yes,
So
indeed.
this is actually a good story for anybody that's out there hustling about, actually doing the work and don't assume anything. I thought that the car might qualify, but it was very close. And I went to like 2 or 3 dealerships, and all that these people would do would be like, how many miles to the gallon does it get? And I'd tell them what I thought it was, and they'd say, nope, not a clunker. And I went to a Honda dealership in Newark, Delaware, and the sales guy, super nice. One of the things he asked me is, hey, do you have a clunker?
Hold on a second. Pause that real quick.
Yeah.
You said Newark,
Yeah.
and it's not Newark.
You know what? You're talking about New Jersey.
No, I'm not. No, Newark is in New Jersey. Newark is in Delaware.
Whatever. I was.
I'm just asking. Look, you living outside of town. I want to get clarification because
So I was right outside of Wilmington, and
I don't want to take my ass over to Newark, Delaware, and get to calling it Newark because I'm reading it off the damn board and have locals looking at me like I'm insane. Although, to be honest, I would probably never ever bring myself to Newark, Delaware. But
So I was in 19703 and or something like that. And I go in and one of the first things, because that's one of the first thing everybody's asking, hey, do you have a clunker? I'm like, no, I don't think so. And the guy's like, do you have the registration? Go get your registration. Let's check. He goes, disappears like they do, puts some numbers in somewhere, and he goes, you've got a clunker. So I think at that time it was like an extra $4,500. I'm like, you, sir, just sold a car. Don't know which one yet, but I have been to 4 dealerships. None of them have done the work. I bought I don't remember what year. That was a Honda Civic. So what's that get me? That gets me to
like
5.
calling your car trash has never been so profitable.
Yeah, exactly. What's that? 5, right? Several years later, I traded that in and upgraded to a Honda Cross Tour, which you can't even buy anymore. That was a fucking great car.
I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like I don't want to say it's like a station wagon, but you know how like they had these kind of crossover type vehicles
Extended cars, right?
that had the hatchback sort of thing, but it was a bigger car, not a little car.
Right.
So that's what that was. What's that get me to 6? I decided a couple years later to trade that in. Probably one of the only regrets I have with respect to cars, because you can't buy those cross tours anymore, and I love that car. I ended up buying a Toyota pickup truck that was standard. That's 7. From the pickup truck, I went back to Honda because I hated the Toyota and got a Honda Pilot from the same guy. Not only did the guy win my sale for doing the work to get me to determine that I had a clunker, sold me the Civic. I went and bought the Cross Tour from him. And then, like I said, I stepped out on Honda, got the Toyota, hated it. I mean, it was fine, but eventually I hated it. So I traded that in and got a Pilot from that same guy. We are almost to now, because a year ago, June, so about a year and a half ago now, the transmission went to shit on the Pilot, and it was under warranty. And first of all, Honda started, the warranty people tried to give me a hard time about it, and ended up paying it. But I was like, it's time to get a new vehicle, because I don't trust warranty work. I don't want to trust warranty work. I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad, but they're not getting paid the same as if, the transmission blew up and they're like 10 grand, So within weeks of that, I traded that in for my current daily driver, which is a 2021 Volvo XC40 Recharge. It is fully electric. I don't know what gas costs today because I don't buy gas. And that is vehicle number 9. In the middle of the pandemic, I also purchased for like $2,000 cash a 1998 Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, wow.
Just a fuck around, screw around car. So if you count the Wrangler,
what you do, because you bought it and you have it.
Because I bought it and I own it. So 10 total vehicles, and I don't know what gas costs because I drive that Wrangler so infrequently that it's probably got some of the same gas in it that it did when I bought the electric vehicle. And I will tell you, I love that car. It has ridiculous pickup. It just goes. And like I said, I know that gas is expensive, but I don't know how expensive it is.
Right.
Because it has been, let's see, June is the 6th month. We're in basically December. So yeah, a year and a half, 18 months I've been buying no gas at all.
Nice.
It's a beautiful thing. And then a couple months ago, I decided to get a vanity plate. So, and I posted this on my Instagram after I got it. But the license plate on my electric vehicle, driven by a magician, is tricky. It is a double entendre, and if times get tough, it may become a triple entendre. And my wife hates that joke.
Because she knows it's true.
So yeah, 10. Do you have an answer to that question, or are you gonna have to do the math out loud too?
I'm definitely gonna have to do the math out loud. I don't know the exact number, but I can do the math. I remember the cars. So I had the Mazda GLC, and also doing the math out loud makes for good podcasting. The Mazda GLC, and then the very next car was a Nissan Sentra. Because the Mazda GLC eventually, it wasn't actually. I'm trying to think of the Mazda. The Mazda might have been a used car when I got it. I don't remember. Okay, Mazda GLC, Nissan Sentra. I wrecked the Nissan Sentra. Totaled it out. Then after the Nissan Sentra, I didn't have a car for a while, and then I got a Ford Escort. No. I got a Hyundai. And this was back when Hyundais were trash. And that Hyundai burned out super quick. And we had so many problems with it. So we traded in the Hyundai and got a Ford Escort. And I had the Ford Escort for a while. And then drove that till it died. Then got another hand-me-down from mom's. My mom liked to upgrade her cars, and I would always get her car when she would upgrade. So she had an '88 Nissan Maxima. So then I got the Nissan Maxima, and loved that car. Drove that car a lot, all the time, again and again till it died. Let's see. This is where age comes in. Okay, got the Nissan Maxima. After the Nissan Maxima, I got a brand new Jeep, a brand new Jeep Wrangler, and the Jeep was my favorite car because it was a soft top, iconic.
Yeah.
Just drove that, loved that car, wrecked that car. Got an accident in that car. Broke my heart. After that, I got a Honda Accord. And I drove the Honda Accord forever. And then got my Kia. My Kia Sport, that was 2011. And then mom upgraded again and I got her Lexus. So I have nine cars. The Lexus are those my wife's and the Kia is mine, but again, it doesn't matter. They're our cars, whatever.
Yeah.
That's 9. That's 9 vehicles in my lifetime. Which is why I'm sure I'm dreaming about where the fuck's my car.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sexy, where's your car? I don't know. I know that one is. I don't know where my car is. That's hilarious. So now, do we have any external monologue for today?
So we don't have any external monologue today, but I am confident that there is external monologue coming. I don't know with the time difference. You probably have not listened to the latest Hey Buddy Nice podcast because it dropped today. But I'm about halfway through it until the phone started ringing at the office here. And so I put out I threw the gauntlet down and specifically tagged them and 2 characters and a clown being like, feel free to use our external monologue to not only mess with us, ask us questions, but hey, plug your podcast. Why not? Not that we're not, regularly plugging podcasts that we love, but let's hear it from your voices. So we will have one probably for the next episode from Brogan and Wayne that they will probably do live. These are pre-recorded podcasts, but I believe that they intend to visit prankcall.me to leave us external monologue while recording their podcast. And
nice.
Having listened to, they were trying to do the math out loud on their pod while I was listening. So I shot a message to Brogan being like, here's our recording schedule. I think that their interest is in having our episode that drops their external monologue drop before they drop the episode where they recorded it, if that makes sense. So now Brogan and Wayne are up to speed on our recording schedule and how that will adjust with the crews and everything, so they know. And that's so we'll have one from them. That the boys at Three Libidos love to fuck around, so it's only a matter of time. And that is going to be some shenanigans when it comes through here, because because it is.
now speaking of sister podcasts and brother podcasts, our friend and a comedian and magician Harrison Greenbaum has been making the podcast rounds.
Yes.
He was on the Side Hustle podcast with Sarah Lowe and Chelsea Phillips Reed. Shout out to the girls. And he was also on Three Characters and a Clown podcast. And I'm listening, I'm going, you know what? That means we need to have him on our podcast.
Yeah, because he's done ICS a couple times. He co-hosted with Penn on PSS when Matt was on the road. Right.
So I'm putting that in the universe right now, and I'm gonna reach out to him before this airs. But still, I would love to get Harrison Greenbaum on the podcast, and we are going to discuss, if I get him here, things that he hasn't talked about.
Yes.
Because there's a part of his story that gets glossed over whenever he's telling his story. There's a huge part of his story, and I don't want to gloss over it. I'm gonna swing that spotlight right back on that part and discuss it. So I'll see if I get him to come on the pod and get him here. And I'm pretty sure you guys can chop up magic. You guys can do some magic talk.
And listen,
maybe
if you haven't heard any of these appearances, like, you're living under a rock, I would start with the most recent. It's a two-parter with Two Characters and a Clown. By the time this drops, both of those will drop. I've only heard, because it's at the time of us recording, only the first one has dropped, and it is an absolute pisser. Like, holy shit! Like, and he's on in this podcast the way that he's on stage and in any other podcast that he's done. But like, to me,
get a bunch of performers in a room together.
Exactly. Like, it was kind of a little next level. I loved it. I'm looking forward to the next one. But yeah, man, let's get him in here. Let's try to change it up and get a little something different there. Any other shout outs for anybody, since we don't have external monologue?
Yeah, definitely need a shout out. So I want to give a shout out to Lee Popsicle.
Okay.
He's been active on the Twitters and chopping it up, and I wanted to give him a shout out and just say thank you for the interactions. He's an avid listener, and one of the first folks who let us know that he was listening, and hopeful for the direction of the podcast. So man, it's lovely to know that folks are out there in the ether listening. And our number, I mean, you can look at numbers and they show you so many listeners, so many downloads, what have you. And I get that. That's fine. But those are numbers.
Yeah.
And if you know me, if you know Big Sexy, I'm about that human connection. I'm about, interaction and talking and getting to know folks and all that kind of stuff. So don't hesitate to just send out hey, heard the podcast, great, or whatever, or oh, that was great, heard your podcast, you should probably do something different, uh, whatever it is, you know, uh, uh, the audience and the community, because again, we kind of came with a sort of a built-in community because we're both scoops, so we have the scoop like to fall back on, which is great. And also building our own, right? You're also building the community, bringing worlds together, and that's one of the best things. And I'm really looking forward to experiencing that. I'm really looking forward to once we really start traveling. Like once that goes down, and we are
I mean the content's going to get so much more dynamic when your journey does.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to recycle something that I put on Twitter either yesterday or early today to any of the scoops that are listening, Salt Pork, to any of the non-scoops that are any of the non-scoops that are listening, Piggy Butts. The scoops will understand that, and that's all that really matters. So I'll shout out to Brogan and Wayne and so many people. I did a shout out to a bunch of people the other night of just, that community and the like-minded with different skill set people that are helping to just fill in the pieces to the puzzle that is life. Brogan, Wayne, Froyo, all you, the ones who we haven't connected on a deeper level with yet, but that's soon to come, I'm sure.
I also like to shout out, and I'll tell you what, it's funny how, your friends do things, right? Your friends have podcasts and they have shows and you have other stuff and you want to be supportive. And it's not always enjoyable. Right. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I'm supporting this because this is my friend doing it, but God, I wish it was more entertaining. That is not the case with our boy Bat Steve. If you haven't heard, I don't know if I've said this on this podcast or not, but if you haven't listened to the Binary Saga,
I need to add that to the rotation for sure.
Which is a very interesting concept because it's not a podcast; it's an audio drama. And he was absolutely sure to correct me on that. But it's really entertaining. Like I'm listening and into the story and following the characters, and it's a great concept. I'll just give you the cliff notes of the concept.
So real quick, this is a start from the beginning, not a jump in the middle.
This is a start from the beginning. You have to start from because it's an audio drama. You don't want to open up a book and start from the middle. You got to start from the beginning. But the story, the Earth received this transmission of correspondence between two other planets. They were corresponding to one another.
Oh man, I'm already in. I'm such a fucking nerd for space shit. I'm already in.
This is hype. And then it's really interesting because what I learned, the little bit of the backstory is the performers, the readers, don't know what the other person is going to say.
Oh, wow.
Right. So they're responding.
So you're getting like some pure reactions.
Script. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Right. And story adjustments because I had this idea of where the story was going to go, but you did it. Like, oh, shit, you beat me to the punch. Right. It's great. It's wonderful. It's intriguing. I can't recommend it enough. That's The Binary Saga. If you look that up anywhere you get your podcast, you can find that. It's really great. So shout out to Bat Steve and shout out to Sarah Boyle, who came out to join us on
The Binary Saga
Friday. Yeah, I know. I shouted out the podcast before because I know I shouted them out when they came out to join us at our meet and greet at New York. But I'm shouting out again. That's how much I love it. I'm still listening. I'm still enjoying it. So get in it. They're in season 3 now. So start with season 1 at the beginning, and it's really interesting.
Hell yeah. So hit us up, prankcall.me. We'd love to hear from you. We know that we're going to have a few in queue. We're probably going to do one a week. So If in the next episode you've given one and we haven't done yours yet, don't worry, it's coming. So prankcall.me or bigsexynomad.com. The link to do it is there. It's free. You just need to be on the internet. You're not making a phone call. It just does it through the internet. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Where can they find you, good sir?
So I am at Psychic-ish, and that is on either the Twitter, the Instagram, and then I signed up for Mastodon. I don't really know how to use it yet, but it's there. Also, still Psychic-ish.
What the hell is Mastodon?
It's the there are a couple of different potential options out there. Should Twitter sail to the big fail whale in the sky, which many are predicting that it very well may. So some people are going to Mastodon, and there's something else, and I can't remember the name of it because I haven't signed up for it yet. But you want to get there and kind of secure your names before you get there. So yeah, and how about you?
Well, you can find me at Who Is Big Sexy, pretty much everywhere. If you're still on the old Book of Faces, you can find me at Bigs Exy. Put the S on the big, take it off the sexy, and otherwise, yeah, hit us up. Let us know. Doing all the things. Really excited as we get into December. More selling stuff, more getting stuff ready to go, and man, it's coming. It's coming. First steps are right around the corner, and it's exciting. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out on this journey with us. And as always,
safe travels. And now I'm going to hit a random music button for some outro music, and I don't know what it's on the button. I can get out to this.
I like that.